Welcome back to another episode of Black Expo TV. I am your host, Brian G. Thompson, and we are here with the one and only Ron Alexander. And he's going to be talking to us about his new book, his exhibition at the expo, and everything that goes along with that. So, Ron, welcome.
How you doing, Brian?
Hey, it's good to have you here.
Finally get a chance to meet you.
Hey, likewise.
We've been texting all the time.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about you, Ron Alexander, the person.
Okay. I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Yes, I am an Eagles fan.
Okay, well, we're not going to hold that against you.
Yeah, don't hold that against me. Okay. And I grew up during the time that I was coming up in Philadelphia. We had a lot of gang warfare, and I had to navigate my way to school through a neighborhood where people were frequently getting shot and stabbed to death. I lived most of my life in Philadelphia, but I also lived and worked in Chicago, where I worked for the McDonald's Corporation. I was a marketing consultant there. And I'm very blessed to say that I'm living during a time that my mother is 94 years old.
Ooh, wow.
She celebrated her birthday last week, so that says a lot about me because I care so much about her.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your book.
Okay. Bulletproof Soul is a book of personal essays. And I basically write for those people who are caught up in mental illness, substance abuse, codependent relationships, those people who have endured and are dealing with a childhood trauma, and particularly Black men who are just trying to find themselves at a time where we really don't have any great Black leaders that I grew up with. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X. And so I talk about very honestly about my lived experiences and how I was impacted by childhood trauma, how I was dyslexic and didn't know it when I was a kid. So I got bounced around in different schools. And so I write about those things. I'm very honest, I'm very blunt, I'm very in your face about it. I have nothing to hide, but I also write about how people like my friend Natalie Cole who was dealing with, it was coincidental, but we were dealing with our addictions at the very same time. And I was in contact with her while she was a student at the University of Massachusetts. I also write about the impact that Marvin Gaye had on my life. And this is a very significant chapter because I remember when me and my boys, I was in my teens, we were sitting around talking and one of them pulled out this album, What's Going On? And I said, wow. So we sat and we listened to it. Nobody said a word. And that album impacted not only their lives, but it impacted my life because I began to understand that when it comes to problems in my community and around the country, I had to be an activist. I had to get involved. I had to say something. I had to do something. So that was a very momentous period in my life. Finally, however, I was a member of the Black Panther Party, the original Black Panther Party. And I didn't realize at the time how dangerous it was to call yourself a Black Panther because during those times, like we had the shooting of Fred Hampton, you probably, they went into this guy's apartment, shot him dead in his bed. and Panthers were getting shot all around the country. But it was still the responsibilities and what I was seeing during my time with the Black Panther Party, that I actually became a man. Being a Black Panther made me a man. And so finally, let me just say that I was addicted to drugs for over 20 years. Believe me, it ravaged my life. I went through all the usual things that a substance abuser go through. I was homeless. I was jobless. I was without hope, nobody to turn to. And how did I get over that? Very, very simple to answer. I asked God to deliver me. And he did. I'm not talking about recovery as in NA and AA. I'm talking about deliverance in terms of the Bible. I was delivered. My prayers were answered. My life was saved. And today, right now, I'm 31 years clean from drugs. So I write about that also because, you know, no matter who you are, you know someone who has a problem with drugs. Could be a family member, it could be a friend, but that's a very common problem today, and I don't think we can talk about that enough because young people are still dying from substance abuse. So I try to cover all those things, and let me just make one other mention. There's a piece in my book that talks about the decline of the Black funeral home. You see, when I was coming up, if you died, okay, and if you belonged to a church, you know, the church was in touch with a funeral home, and so you had some place to go, or somebody could take you someplace,
Right.
okay? And nowadays, there is a steady decline of Black funeral homes. We are losing that tradition of a homecoming, like the slaves went through. And part of the problem is that one, okay, these large conglomerates are buying out Black funeral homes. So you may go to a funeral home that you've been aware of for years. You see the same faces, the same people, but they're under new ownership. I mean, how do you navigate that? So I'm a champion of the traditional homecoming. And I remember when my grandmother died in 2002, one of the things that she had in her will, she wrote, I want to go out in style. So we put her out in style. So I want to advocate that we as African Americans, if you do have a Black-owned or what appears to be a Black-owned funeral home, give them some support, because let's look at it this way. When somebody dies and you're responsible, you're going to have to go somewhere, and I'm saying support your local Black funeral home.
Well, you heard it here. You know, I've enjoyed this interview so much because it was almost like telepathy, because every time I was about to ask you something, you had the answer. And so, no, but it's really profound the way that your book is designed to heal. And I think that, first of all, I thank you for writing this book.
Thank you.
I believe everybody needs to go out and bought it. I bought my copy, as you know. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Black Expo. Tell everybody how they can find you.
You can find me two ways. You can find me on Amazon, and you can simply put in my name or my book, Bulletproof Soul. But you can also go to my website. It's very easy to remember, byronsbook.com. Let me say it again, buyronsbook.com.
Well, you heard it. Buy Ron's book. And tune in next time to Black Expo TV. I'm your host, Brian G. Thompson. We'll see you June 20th at the Hampton Roads Convention Center for the Black Expo. Peace.